From my eyes to my heart, I knew that I loved you right from the start. You're lying there as still as could be. You open your eyes and you look back at me. So go on and dream as big as the sea, but don't let the tide take you too far from me. Well, go on and find who you wanna be, and know that my love for you will never leave, dear Sophie.
Volan was born on April 22, 2009. His parents, Vernon and Casey Schluter, were not aware that he had Down syndrome before he was born. They talk about their first reactions when they saw him.
I knew that there was going to be a lot of differences between how our future would be with having a child with Down syndrome versus a typical child, but then quickly realized that actually there really wasn't that much difference between the two.
The first thing I thought when I had Volan and I found out he had Down syndrome was that it was going to be a lot of work. And it is a lot of work. But there's a lot more positives than how much work it is.
He's always happy. Even if I want him to be mad or sad or angry, that's just not him. He's always positive, he's always happy, he's always fun-loving.
Volan's sister Sophie tells us what she likes most about Volan and what she enjoys doing with him.
He's nice and kind and funny. Putting him to bed and dancing with him and reading.
Volan's positive attitude, bright smile, and kind heart have completely changed both of his parents' lives in the most positive way possible.
The way he's changed me as a person, making me more patient, or still working on that, and more caring. Seeing individuals with disabilities and Down syndrome differently than I ever have in my life. Appreciating, everything that we have and what he brings to our life. Mm-hmm. Having a child with Down syndrome has brought so many people into our lives. Some of my best friends, other parents of people with Down syndrome, and then Michaela, just everybody that is associated with his team, anybody that works with him that we've come into contact with. I just feel blessed that we have those people in our life.
According to Cliff Cunningham and Sheila Glenn, professors from John Moores University, the more people understand about Down syndrome, the more accepting they become. Casey and Vernon talk about some misconceptions that people have about people who have Down syndrome and explain that really, they are more alike than different.
One of the misconceptions that we have found is that just like other individuals, we as parents underestimate his abilities and capacities. And many times we will think that he doesn't know where something is or that he's able to do something, and then he's off showing us that he can actually do that.
Mm-hmm. He can put his shoes, dress himself, put his shoes on, go help and, get something that we need, go turn something on, go let the dog out. Just tasks and chores that we didn't know if he could do it, and we just try, and he surprises us every day.
Volan essentially has the same wants and needs as any other child.
Yeah, and we treat Volan the same as we treat our other two children. He gets timeouts just like they get timeouts, and I have the same expectations for him, for following instructions, for manners, for picking toys up. Everything's the same expectations. I don't lower my standards just because he has Down syndrome. So I keep everything as even as I can, and just know that he'll get it eventually.
Aiden was born on a Monday on September 26th.
Your whole life before you, there's so much.
He was so cute, and he was so small. He had webbed toes,
Yeah, we all got excited because Alex had webbed toes, and they had something in common.
Yeah. We'd always told Alex, his big brother, that he made him swim faster. So, and Aiden's a very good swimmer. Yay.
Much like Volan's parents, Jeff and Marnie did not know that Aiden had Down syndrome before he was born.
We were all celebrating that he had webbed toes, and then they whisked him off and started poking at him,
Yeah.
looking at him.
Jeff and Marnie talk about some of the best things that come with having a child with Down syndrome.
He's so loving and gives us hugs Aiden gives us hugs on command.
Yeah, he does. He's always going to need us, which is good as a parent. I mean, your other kids do too, but in a different way.
They explain how they have been positively impacted by having Aiden in their lives.
I'm more patient and probably more understanding of others.
For me, it's I think when I see other kids with disabilities and stuff like that, you kind of understand a little more, and like Marnie said, you're more patient, and you kind of you think about their family.
Aiden's brother Adam also explains how he has impacted his life.
He's helped me just understand other kids with disabilities and that they're pretty much the same as other kids without any disabilities.
Paul Milner and Bernie Kelly explained in the magazine Disability in Society that it is important not to emphasize a person's disability. Instead, we should emphasize what each individual can do.
We treat Aiden like anybody else, and he's learned to take care of himself and get dressed on his own. And
Aiden and a lot of the kids can do what other kids can do. It just may be that it's, they maybe have to do it a little bit slower, or it takes them a little bit longer. But I mean, Aiden, he can pretty much do most things, and it just takes a little bit.
he's got his favorite toys. He has favorite things to do. He loves his iPad. He likes to play on the computer. So
Loves
the
racetracks.
Same thing the other kids have done as they grew up.
Yeah. He's extremely smart. And I think a lot of people think just because he has a disability that he's not, and that he can't do the same things that everybody else can.
How smart are you?
He can,
That's smart.
most definitely.
Okay, my name is Katie Lewis. I'm 12-4.
When I asked Katie Lewis about what she enjoys doing, she tells me how she really likes everything.
My favorite thing is I think I like everything.
Katie has a younger sister named Natalie who she enjoys spending time with when she's home from college.
One thing she does, she makes cookies, and second of all, she did a takeout for me for lunch.
According to the Journal of Intellectual and Developmental Disability, building relationships is a very important element in the journey towards community inclusion. Katie is a perfect example of someone who has built many relationships with people of all different abilities, which has allowed her to be an advocate for herself and her peers.
I think I lost best friends. My best friend Nanette, and my best friend Tiffany, and my best friend Melissa, and also my other friends, like my sister, like community works, like Linda, my brother Matt, and truckers, and and my boyfriend Troy.
Not only does Katie have countless numbers of friends, but she also has a job at the Angel Works Career Center. Angel Works is a part of Angel Guardians Incorporated. Angel Guardians is a place where teenagers and adults go to enrich their daily lives. Angel Works provides adults with disabilities a chance to get a real employment experience while at the same time participating in pre-vocational training. Katie tells us about all the different job opportunities at Angel Works.
We had every station we worked in, like sewing and dog trees, cafe, beading, or art beading was my favorite station. I think art and jewelry.
Katie is a prime example of a person with a disability who is more alike than different. When talking to her parents, Rob and Sally Lewis, they informed me about how they were not aware that Katie had Down syndrome until the doctors told them.
We didn't know right away. the doctor told us that my obstetrician said that he had suspected when she was born, but she didn't have a lot of characteristics that are typical with people with Down syndrome. So he wanted to wait for a geneticist to come and check her out.
And each of us had made comments about different physical characteristics that Katie had that were in fact characteristics of Down syndrome.
Yeah, it was pretty much a shock. I wasn't even, me personally, I wasn't even really sure what that meant. When she was first born, all the doctors who were involved at the time said, she's a baby first. Treat her as any other baby. She's got a couple other things that we need to pay attention to, but she's a baby first. And that was kind of how it has been all through her life.
Having Katie is not a whole lot different than having a kid without a disability. And she has extra things to worry about, but and obviously she's living with us now at 24 and may well be down in the future. But it's all the good things of having a kid, having a child, should be depleting.
Like he said, just like any other kid, with a few extra things that we have to concern ourselves with.
They explain how having Katie has impacted both of their lives.
Having children in general makes you a more patient person.
Or not. You have to choose.
Or not. Yeah, that's true.
I think you choose whether or not you're going to be patient or not.
And I think, well, any parent might say that they've learned a lot by being a parent. Just how to communicate more effectively, how to deal with a young mind.
One of the great things that having a child with Down syndrome has done is it's opened us up to the larger world of disabled children, especially mentally handicapped, but also physically handicapped children and young adults. So we've met a lot of parents and of kids with young adults with a variety of disabilities, and those people as well. And that's been a wonderful thing because one of the other things that we were told the day we took Katie home was, of all the things that might not be perfect in making a human being, Down syndrome was like the least of your worries. And I think that was, for me, that was the most prescient piece of advice that I got, because this, having an extra chromosome 21 is a fairly mild disability by comparison to what so many other people have.
Although Katie has Down syndrome, she has the same wants and needs as any other person her age.
She's 24 years old, and the biggest thing in her life is her friends. She wants friends. She has friends. She likes to do things with her friends. So I don't think that's any different than anybody else.
One way she might be different from the average 24-year-old is that she gets up regularly at 7 o'clock in the morning. She keeps her room really clean. She is aggressive about making sure that she gets to fold the laundry and take the dishes out of the dishwasher and put things away, so she keeps things really neat. We kind of benefit from that.
Rob and Sally talk about some of the misconceptions that people have when thinking about kids and adults with disabilities. They give some advice to people who are not familiar with individuals who have special needs.
I think there are a lot of people who think, and not just Down syndrome, but most cognitive disabilities, is that they don't get it. They get it. Many people, Katie included, that we know are extremely intuitive. They know when you're upset about something. They know when something makes you happy or sad. They even when you're trying to hide it, they get it. And I think that a lot of people treat people with disabilities as if they're stupid, and they don't really get it. I think people need to not be afraid of others who have disabilities.
Kate, I think from the standpoint of people who have no experience with any person with a disability, I think that Kate and all of her friends that we know, have all the characteristics and many of the capabilities of able-bodied children and young adults, growing up. So I think the first thing to do is, we treated Katie as a baby first when she was born, and we treated her, like a regular child as much as possible growing up, and we try to treat her as an adult now, and I think everybody should do that. I mean, we would like to see people with Down syndrome and all people with disabilities integrated into society, and so I think that's the thing that people need to do.
Bolin is more.
Hayden is more.
It's more than
I am more.
More than Down syndrome.
More than Down syndrome.
It's more than Down syndrome.
Down syndrome.
My Sophie.